There are over 100 joints in our body. Interestingly enough, what I'm going to explain to you now is the development of pain and what happens in the joint. No matter which joint, it is the same everywhere. In the larger ones, in the very large ones, the hip joint, in the smaller ones like the elbow, or in the smallest ones like the finger joints or the toe joints, the same thing is happening everywhere. We always have at least two directions of movement, two dimensionally seen as bending and stretching. When bending, the muscle fasciae have to be longer here, shorter there. And when I stretch the arm, they are longer here, shorter there. And we always have these two movements. And they have a big function besides the movements because they end in the cartilage. Let me show you this. We have a bone here, the opposite bone. This is any joint. In between is the cartilage, which cushions it nicely and makes it glide with synovial fluid, joint oil, so to speak. This is produced in the capsule, which also holds the joint together. The muscles pull on it because a joint needs muscles to move. These are the motors of movement. If now muscles pull over here, then the bone goes over there. Down here, the cartilage is loaded. When walking in the other direction, the loaded one is unloaded again, and the other is loaded. And this constant play leads to the fact that the wear, which happens there, a physiological wear, is that which is repaired repeatedly by the stem cells. But if I don't move the joints completely, there is a shortening of the fasciae and too much tension of certain muscle parts. And this ensures that when I now move the arm in this direction, move the bone in this direction, that I have small counter forces because the counter area does not really want to give way. And then you see that the resulting force already deviates a little bit. And the more we don't move, or we don't move enough, the bigger this deviation becomes. And at some point, the deviation is so great that the resulting force points into the joint. And then for the shoulder, for example, that's the impingement. I can only lift it up to here. And then it's blocked because the forces are such that they can no longer act outward at all. Suppose these forces, these interfering forces, become greater and greater. In that case, basically, the force pushes more and more into the joint, and the brain measures this. The brain measures all the tensions and pressures that arise. And this information goes from these receptors, which measure this, directly into the brain. And it's calculated in the brain. And when the wear and tear that's caused by this excessive force is so great that the body can no longer repair it, then it's time for the brain to say, okay, I'm now sending out an alarm pain to a place in the joint where this movement would further aggravate it so that this is prevented. And that alarm pain is solely head-made, brain-made by the tension being too high. And the moment I know that the joint's condition is not responsible for the pain, but the tension of the muscles around, what do I have to do then? Then I simply have to reduce the tension of these muscles, normalize them again. This means that the muscles yield better, the fasciae become more flexible again. And that moment, the measurement is different, and the body itself says via the brain, now we no longer need the pain. And at that movement, when the tensions are so normalized, also this too much wear and tear, which may have already led to osteoarthritis, is stopped, can be repaired. And yes, I say it on purpose, the osteoarthritis can regenerate, can heal again. If the cartilage is worn down, it can rebuild. The prerequisite is that the forces of the muscle fasciae around the joint are normalized again, brought to a normal level. At the same time, mobility increases because all the forces are back to normal. You have much more power in your body because the power is no longer stuck in the joint like a tightened handbrake. It is released to the outside for your everyday life, for your performance, for your sport. If you like this info, it would be great if you help us spread it. Therefore, share the video with all people who have joints. Everyone has joints, so share this with everyone. That would be great. Other than that, we have provided an explanation video about inflammation in the body. If you want to go deeper into the topic, super exciting, I promise. And down there, you can subscribe to our channel if you haven't, so you don't miss anything. I'm Roland Liebscher Bracht. Ciao. See you next time.